Tranh, zither, is a traditional instrument of the eastern countries. It is a musical instrument used in solo performance, orchestra, percussion, for singing, poetry recitation, and is played in many musical genres such as cải lương, trèo, nhã nhạc, etc. The cello, a Western musical instrument, creates a sound based on the resonance of the barrel and the pulling of the strings. Cello is usually played in symphony orchestras. There are two types of musical instruments that have different historical and cultural backgrounds. However, in one way or another, they can still be combined together. The harmonious combination between Master Duyệt Thị Trang and American cellist Bryan Wilson took place naturally and smoothly. These are not the individual melodies of each instrument, but they are improvised in a fanciful way. The show brought the delicate and overwhelming emotions because their combination has become the limits of space and culture. Greetings from Tranh Vietnam on VTC 10 NetViet. In our show today, let's have a talk with an American cellist. His name is Bryan. Thank you for joining our program today. The first question I'd like to ask you is, what brought you to Vietnam initially?
Great question. Well, I love Vietnamese culture. Maybe so much so that I married a Vietnamese woman. So my wife is Vietnamese, Duyệt Thị Trang, and she got a grant to work here through Fulbright. So to do a workshop. So after I trapped her in America, we got married, she couldn't leave, and we had a baby. We could finally come back to Vietnam and I could experience the culture. So we came here, she's doing her workshop, and I'm exploring musical avenues.
This time you're working with a Vietnamese artist, the zither artist, for the combination between Vietnamese traditional musical instruments and the cello, the Western musical instruments. So can you share with us about the initial idea for this performance?
Yeah, with Tay, we first met, again through my wife, and we just kind of hit it off. He doesn't speak English, I don't speak Vietnamese, and we just played, we improvised together. So after kind of just feeling each other's energy and spirit, we realized that the combination of cello and Tranh was really great. So we actually played a couple workshops. We did a couple other performances together, and we just thought, this is something that we can really share with the world.
Before working with Thị Trang, what did you think that the combination of zither and also the cello would be?
I didn't know that much about traditional Vietnamese instruments before I came here. And so I hadn't really envisioned, maybe I'm going to be playing with a zither or whatever. But I've had a lot of experiences in my musical career where I've been able to just explore different options and improvise in different settings. So jumping into something like this wasn't too foreign for me. It kind of felt at home. And again, Tay and I, we really work well together. So I didn't have any expectations. We gave it a shot, and it turned out beautiful, and I was very happy with it. Yeah.
It is an improvised music performance. So did you work together for the show, or did you rehearse with each other?
No, actually, we didn't have any rehearsal prior to this, besides the other times we've played, like in the jungle. Usually when we play, it's spontaneous. We just kind of, again, feel each other's energy and just create something in the moment. It's not something you could really rehearse unless we are playing specific traditional songs, which sometimes Tay will get into a little bit, and he'll go off those, and I'll use that as inspiration and use that as a musical landscape and kind of branch out from there. Yeah.
The unique performance of Vietnamese zither artists and American cellists has taken place at the American Center in Hanoi a few days ago. The performance has also two special guests that accompany Master Trang and Bryan on a number of improvisations. They are Lee Fan and Elliot Mandares. Lee and Elliot are two of a kind hedonists and artists that unite around the world music and unique sensations. They enjoy spending time dancing, traveling, or discovering music with numerous ethnic instruments collected during their journeys.
Đây là một sự ngẫu hứng giữa Đông Tây gặp nhau, giống như chúng tôi đang phiêu bồng, mà đây là một cái cơ hội để cho giới trẻ Việt Nam ý thức rằng cái nhạc cổ truyền Việt Nam mình vô cùng phong phú. Đặc biệt đàn tranh là không phiếm và cello cũng vậy. Nên khi mà vượt qua một cái trói buộc, một cái giới hạn thì hai bên rất dễ gặp nhau. Và điều đó làm cho những cái tâm hồn có một tần số cùng rung động thì rất dễ kết hợp.
The light, smooth melody of the zither artist Duyệt Thị Trang and the warm, touching melody of the cellist Bryan and other artists have blended together, creating a rich and attractive music space. This concerto of cello and zither has attracted the attention of many music lovers.
Tôi thấy đây một sự kết hợp rất chi là thú vị và đặc sắc ạ. Vì giữa một đàn tranh là một thể loại nhạc của dân tộc ấy, và đàn cello là một thể loại nhạc cụ về cổ điển nghệ thuật, cổ điển, mà hai cái kết hợp được với nhau một cách rất chi là sáng tạo. Nên tôi thấy rất là hay ạ. Mặc dù hai cái âm nó vẫn có những cái sự giao hưởng hợp với nhau, không bị như kiểu là đối nhau quá ấy ạ.
Khi nghe cái sự ngẫu hứng được chơi bởi hai loại nhạc khá là khác nhau từ phương Đông và phương Tây, thì em cảm thấy là các tông nhạc từ thăng trầm được hài hòa kết hợp với nhau, và em thấy là nếu như những người bình thường nghe thì họ nghe tách riêng ra từng loại nhạc một thì họ sẽ cảm thấy là rất là khó mà để có thể kết hợp được. Nhưng mà khi mà có sự giao thoa giữa hai dòng nhạc này thì mình cảm thấy khá là đặc sắc, và không nghĩ là nó lại được kết hợp một cách nhuần nhuyễn và kiểu dễ nghe như thế.
Your performance with Thị Trang at the American Center attracts a lot of people coming to hear your performance. So can you share with us about your combination between the zither and also the cello?
Well, we did a couple solo pieces at the beginning. He played a solo piece, and he's very interactive with the audience. And I played one solo piece of my own where I wrote it for my grandma. It's on my first album. Then we kind of collaborated, and we sit down, we play, we make sure we're in tune, and then we go from there. And like I said, Tay sometimes uses the Vietnamese, some traditional Vietnamese songs as kind of like a basis for the ideas for the music, but I don't think he sticks strictly to them. And I'm not a master of Vietnamese music, so I'm just trying to follow along and make something sound good. It's a cross-cultural experience, right? You know, Vietnam and America have had, you know, a very storied past, right? And sometimes the best way to communicate is not necessarily through talking or through, you know, other types of discourse. It's through music, in which you don't really need a language. You just need the music, you need the vibrations, and I'm happy to say that I think we achieved, you know, a good outcome with that.
Do you have any message that you'd like to tell the audience of your show?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, both Western classical music and Vietnamese classical music, or Vietnamese traditional music, are strict canons. You know, they have their own set things. But just because you grow up in that tradition and that style of playing doesn't mean that you can't branch out and see that there's a whole other realm of music that you might not have even known existed, and have the ability to try to collaborate and create something new. That's what I think is most important. Take something old, use it as your basis, and then create something new with that.
Working with the Vietnamese artists, the theater artists, and also the Vietnamese musical instruments. So what would you have to say about the musical instruments and also about the Vietnamese artists?
It's an extremely varied tradition. I was just actually learning from some of our guests that were on the show. They're more well-versed in Vietnamese music than me, and they were teaching me all the different types of Tai Tu. One instrument I really love in the Vietnamese instrument canon is the Dan Bo. The Dan Bo I really think is a beautiful, almost kind of mystical instrument that I don't hear something very similar in Western music, and I'd love to actually learn that instrument myself if I have the opportunity to. Yeah.
In the future, will you continue to work with some other Vietnamese artists, and especially combine cello with some traditional Vietnamese musical instruments?
Yeah, like I was saying, Dan Bo, I think I would love to combine that with cello. I'd also love to learn it myself. But I would love to continue playing with Tay and expanding upon what we have here. You know, doing improvisations, but then also me learning more of the core Vietnamese music, and again, using that as our basis and then growing it into something that's new and different. Well, I'm here for about a year, so I have time. I've got time to do it. So I hope to study with someone. I haven't found a Dan Bo teacher. If you know someone, let me know. But yeah, I very much want to explore more traditional music.
Once again, thank you for joining us, and we are looking forward to your performance, the combination of cello and the Dan Bo, traditional musical instruments of Vietnam.
Thank you very much.
And that's all we have for this episode of Sharing Vietnam today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at sharingvietnam@netvietttv.net. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.